first I'm going to take my plywood and I'm going to lay it out and put my template on it, which I will link down below, and I'm just going to trace it out. When I get to the bottom, instead of just tracing the template, I'm going to draw a big spike on it just so I can stake it into the ground. This is for a memorial, but you can make this for anything, for yard decoration. So now I'm going to take a jigsaw, some gloves, and some protective glasses. Again, if you are a child, make sure you have an adult cut this out for you. Saws are very dangerous, and I can't stress that enough. Please have someone that knows how to use a saw do this part. Once you have this cut out, it's time to sand it smooth. So I'm going to take my electric sander and a piece of sandpaper, some gloves, and some protective glasses. I'm going to take the piece and I'm going to sand it completely on the top, bottom, and sides because you want this to be smooth and have no rough, jaggedy wood anywhere on it. Now I'm going to take this piece and a piece of sandpaper, and I'm going to just by hand get it down in the little creases where the sander wouldn't fit to sand it down smooth. Now you're going to want to take some wood stain. I have this in dark walnut and a washcloth that you definitely do not want to use anymore. This is one I use just for staining, and then just some kind of chopstick to stir it with. You lay down something to protect your surface because this does get very messy and it will get everywhere. I also put on gloves because it will stain your fingers and it's just not a good look. And I just take this washcloth and I dip it in the stain and wipe all over the piece until it's completely coated. I also did the sides. Now I let this dry overnight before I did the back of it because I didn't want it to stick to the paper with the stain wet and destroy it. So after it dries for a couple hours, you can flip it over and just do the back side. And now this is my template. I've made out the name Hatfield, and I just cut it out and placed it where I wanted it. Now what I'm going to do is I take a ruler and make sure it's straight because I didn't want my letters to turn out too crooked. And I take painter's tape only because I'm afraid regular tape will pull the stain off of the cross. So I just take painter's tape and tape it down in place, and I do exactly like I did in the wooden heart. Just take a pen and kind of put down some decent pressure so that way it indents the outline into the wood so you have your own little stencil made onto the wood. Once you remove the stencil, this is what you'll get. You'll be able to see it pretty clearly, and I just take some paint and trace out the letters. I do about 2 coats of each letter just to make sure that it's very opaque. Once you have it painted the way you want it, it's time for the top coat of polyurethane. I take a sponge brush and I just cover this completely on the top, sides, and back. I suggest doing the back after the top dries. And this is just going to protect your paint and protect your wood stain to keep it looking good for a long time. Once you do this, let it dry overnight and you're done. You have this beautiful stake that you can stake anywhere you want.